Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Somewhere in the Middle, Facts and Feelings. I am your host, Libby Albert, and I appreciate you joining me here tonight. For those of you who don't know who I am pretty much just a regular person. You probably have no reason to know who I am. But I am 38, a mother of two small boys, happily married to my husband of 8 years. I'm hoping that all of you have heard of the Walk Away campaign right now. I'm a proud member, as well as the executive director of the Walk Away campaign. I think it's important that you know that I'm also a beer enthusiast. In fact, I am going to be featuring beers as part of this little vlog. So tonight we are drinking Uinta? I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's Detour Double IPA. It's got about 9% ABV, so this should be a really interesting first episode. Let's go ahead and get it cracked open here and see what my thoughts are. I kind of consider myself a beer snob, so you got a lot to live up to here, Uinta. It's got some bite. Not sure how I would rate that one yet. Probably not my favorite one in the world. I did want to talk a little bit about sort of the format of this vlog. Facts and Feelings really kind of comes from this journey that I've been on, walking away from the Democrat Party. And I think that some of my conservative friends would probably still find a little bit of a bleeding heart liberal in me, which is maybe where the feeling side comes from. But I've also been learning a lot of facts that have been sort of omitted from me when I was part of the Democrat Party. So Facts and Feelings, I think, kind of coming together. So we'll discuss some issues. I really want people to sort of participate in this endeavor. I have learned so much from the people that are part of the Walk Away campaign, and it's been a huge part of my journey. So I really want to continue learning to be a more informed and responsible voter. So I certainly welcome all of your comments, sharing your knowledge, sharing your resources as we kind of go through this. And I will try to follow a similar format, but I also don't want to get too formal with these videos. I find that I'm much better sort of off the cuff and just speaking from the heart. So I'm not going to try to get mired in some very formal format to follow. But a couple things to discuss tonight, because these are things that weigh on me heavily, and these are topics that really kind of get stuck in my crawl when it comes to the Democrats. And so I'm really kind of curious to know your thoughts on these and to kind of help me work through some of these feelings. The first topic I want to discuss is really identity politics. This is a hot button issue for me. It's a big part of why I've chosen to walk away from the Democrat Party. Nothing pisses me off more than the idea that the Democrats are using minorities to further their agenda. I mean, it sickens me. And it really is upsetting to me, and this is kind of, I think, the feelings side of things. It's really upsetting to me that Democrats don't see it. Where is the proof? What have they done? I mean, I think that oftentimes when you're talking to a Democrat, they bring up issues like gay marriage, and that Republicans were largely opposed to those sort of rights, whereas Democrats weren't. Let's not forget that Democrats have a very long history of not supporting those rights. They might have been first to the party in terms of support, but I think that the Republican Party, or at least conservatism, has, and I'll be the first to admit that this may not be a very informed opinion, but I really feel like conservatism has changed to become a more inclusive group of people. They don't want to change these rights. just like all the hysteria, this Trump derangement syndrome, when he came into office, the LGBT community was just, I mean, in shambles. They were wrecks over the idea that Trump was going to turn back the clock and reset all of those liberties, and nothing's happened. Crickets, total crickets, nothing's happened. And so I find that it's so hard for me to watch my friends and my family who are still very much stuck on the Democrat plantation, buy into all of this nonsense, and they're just waiting. They're so sure that the other shoe is going to drop any day now, and it hasn't. And yet their opinions don't change either. It kind of blows my mind. So I would love to hear more from you guys on, especially when it comes to like how to talk to my friends and family, the ones who haven't completely disowned me because I'm no longer a Democrat. How do I talk to them about sort of the logic of it? Like, nothing's happened. There's been no talk of anything happening. There's been no threat to the LGBT community. There's been no threat to minority communities whatsoever. I mean, I guess the argument could be made for the whole immigration issue. I mean, there's a very hard stance on the left, and I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle, hence the name. There's very much a feeling side and there's very much a fact side, and to reconcile the two is often quite a challenge, but I aspire to, with your help, of course. The next topic that I want to discuss, and this is something that blows my mind as well, because I just can't find any evidence to support it, yet it is a widely spread sort of misnomer, and that is President Trump being a racist. And so I ask this question very honestly. It's not to bait anyone on the left or the right. It's an honest question. Where is the evidence? What evidence has been provided to shape this opinion? Again, I don't know. And let's say even you're a huge Trump supporter, he's not a racist. I'm asking you genuinely, where did they get this from? Like, what was there an article? Did he say a racial epithet? I mean, was there something, even minute, that led people down that path? Because I honestly don't know. And I've tried to do a little bit of research, and I'll attempt to do some more. But it would certainly help me a lot and save me a lot of time if somebody could actually point me in that direction and kind of let me figure out for myself whether or not it actually is racist, or if it's just totally bogus, like a lot of the stuff in the media. So, honest question, why does the left think Trump is a racist? Just inquiring minds want to know. One thing I do want to do, and I think that this will be fun because it seems like there is not a week that goes by where there is not just some batshit crazy moments that happen. So I have picked the top 5 batshit moments from the week, and I will count them down. So I do want to get into that. Number 5 batshit moment of the week, the Weather Channel. Oh my God. I mean, is there no safe place anymore? Can we not get real news from the frickin' Weather Channel, for crying out loud? This guy is in a hurricane, making it seem like it is out of control, wind's about to blow him over, he's really taking a stance so that he can't be moved, and then you've got people walking by in the background, just normal. And then they have the audacity to come back and say, oh, well, the guy was in some wet grass, and he was exhausted. So wet grass and exhaustion equal what happened on the Weather Channel. That's bold shit right there, honestly. Number 4, and this is a hot button for me because if anybody knows how I feel about, the left, it's largely because of their move to a socialist platform. So I could not leave out Jim Carrey's appearance on Bill Maher's show, where he really, really tries to get people to buy into the idea of socialism. He goes as far as to say that it's, we really need to normalize the word. We need to make sure people understand that it is not a bad thing. You guys, scary times that we live in. How much well-documented accounts, how many well-documented accounts do we need of failed socialism to know that that's not a good plan? And the Democrats are very, very serious about it. And it is spreading. The idea is, they're getting a hold of it. And it's really scary, really scary. So that was number 4 for sure. Number 3. And everybody has heard of this. The Nikki Haley curtains episode. The New York Times reported that Nikki Haley, so they put out a really good headline that made it sound like Nikki Haley ordered curtains for over $52,000. And then in paragraph 6, they let their readers know that Nikki Haley was completely unaware of this expenditure and it was authorized by the Obama administration. I don't think I have to say a lot about the dishonest media or New York Times, but that's about as bold as it gets. They aren't even trying to be a real newspaper anymore. It's kind of flabbergasting. I don't even know what to say. They just don't give a fuck. And they don't care. And their people eat it up. They eat it up. It's insane. So that was number 3. Number 2, and this one is near and dear to my heart and was really batshit and really mysterious as well. So Brandon Straka, the founder of Walkaway, was banned on Facebook this week for 30 days. And the ban cited that the ban was because he had posted a link to InfoWars, of which he was a guest of Alex Jones, and he was posting the link to the interview. They said it was against community standards. It was a harrowing time. Lots of support and yelling and voices from the Walkaway campaign came through, which was amazing. Then all of a sudden, a reporter reaches out to Brandon to get a quote or something like that for a piece that he was writing, and which Brandon discussed with him. But then the guy texted him back and said, "Why are you lying about this? Facebook says it was a mistake. They apologized to you. They reached out and apologized to you, and they unbanned you." Mind you, nobody had contacted Brandon, especially Facebook. There was no notification given to Brandon that he was not banned. We did find out that he was, in fact, no longer banned. But this guy wrote an article about him, just slamming him for sort of perpetuating, or at least going along with this lie that he had been banned and getting his people all riled up over it. I can assure you, I was going through that with Brandon at the time. He's not that good of an actor. No offense, Brandon, I know you're an actor, but he was not acting. That was all very real, and he was very much freaking out, and I was very much helping him through that whole thing in real time. So this is all bullshit, bogus, and just another effort for Facebook or for, the left-wing media to discredit him. I find it very odd that Facebook was in touch with a reporter when, talking to anybody at Facebook is like talking to a freaking unicorn. Like, how does the media have such an in? And then immediately after the ban, Red Pill Pundit puts out an article about the ban and then suffers a DDoS attack. where some server in California sent 140,000 fake visitors to the site to shut it down. And this happened over the course of like 24 or 48 hours or something like that. All of this happening in a matter of minutes. I don't consider myself to be a conspiracy theorist, but that's some weird shit. And I think it is awfully coincidental. So that was number 2. Number 1 batshit crazy moment of the week happened just several hours ago. And I have to express my disdain for this woman, especially, again, if you know how I feel about socialism, you'll understand. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was on CNN interviewing with Jake Tapper about her $40 trillion plan to save the country, which is all a bunch of free shit, by the way. She accounts for $2 trillion in terms of, what she's going to do to pay for the $40 trillion. Jake Tapper presses her to answer questions about where the other $38 trillion is coming from. She completely avoids the question by giving us some of the standard, spiel from the Leftist Handbook. He pushes her again, and she does it again. He even cites left-leaning, researchers, looking into this plan and kind of thinking that this is insane. And she still defended it without actually giving any answers or any actual solutions to how she's going to come up with the other $38 trillion, other than citing the savings that, millennials will now be able to participate in the economy. But they're so inhibited right now that they can't. It was bananas. If you haven't watched it, actually, I probably wouldn't even waste your time watching it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This girl is ridiculous. And this is coming from a Bernie supporter. I mean, I had a modicum of respect for Bernie, even after I walked away. But now that he has thrown his weight behind this girl, done. No can do. No bueno. It's insane. She is insane. I don't loathe many people. She's on the list. She is definitely on the list. That is your top 5 batshit moments from the week. And with that, we are going to say goodbye for this first episode of Somewhere in the Middle, Facts and Feelings. I hope that you will all join me next week. I'm going to try to make this like a weekly occurrence. Again, I really encourage your thoughts and your knowledge and your resources to share with me and kind of go through this journey with me as I continue to become a more informed American and a more responsible voter. So I do rely on all of your input and your knowledge. I'm going to post this on YouTube as well. So if you want to go check me out there and hit subscribe on the button so that you'll get notifications for my next video, that would be awesome. Love you all. Take care.